Hey there, welcome to Craft Central Designs. Today I have for you this lovely Valentine's Day decor piece, a heart garden, if you will, made with primarily Dollar Tree materials. I hope you love this one and feel inspired to create this very pretty Valentine's Day decor piece. Welcome to all to my channel today, and if you're not currently a subscriber and you enjoy this tutorial, I hope you will feel inspired to become one. Please give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy this tutorial content, and as well, leave me your comments regarding this Valentine's Day decor piece and tell me what you think. Okay, let me show you how I created this very pretty Valentine's Day decor piece made primarily with Dollar Tree materials. Let's look at the items that you will need to create this piece. You will need 4 of these pieces of wood. They are 12 inches by 2 inches, and they are available at the Dollar Tree. You will need 4 of them. As you can see here, they appear to be, these pieces of wood appear to be a little bit thick because I was going to use these for a previous project, and I had glued 2 12 by 2 pieces of wood together on all 4 of those pieces, but that's not necessary. All you really need to do is get 4 12-inch long pieces of wood that are 2 inches wide, and that will be just fine for this piece. Now, to close the ends, I used some wide craft sticks. I picked these up at Walmart, but you can use craft sticks from the Dollar Tree. They don't really have the wide ones, but they have some more narrow ones, and you can easily finish the ends of that by just cutting those craft sticks from the Dollar Tree. And that's how I closed up the end of the piece. So you'll need 4 of those 12-inch long pieces of wood to create the container or the box that is going to hold my little heart garden, if you will. So it's very, very easy to construct this by simply putting the wood pieces together. The 2 12-inch pieces that lay flat, and then you're going to put the other 2 sitting on top of those 2 pieces of wood on the bottom. Now, that sign there, or whatever it is you want to call it, it actually sits on its own. It could be a shelf sitter, actually. But it's of a nice thickness, and of course you can see it says the word love. And I thought this would be a really awesome piece to put on the back side of this, let's just call it a planter. That's where I'm going to be placing my greenery and the flowers and the heart flowers. Now, on the back side, I'm also going to place Jenga blocks, which are sold at the Dollar Tree, just to raise that sign up a little bit. So you will need some Jenga blocks. And those, as I mentioned, can be found at the Dollar Tree. And I just used 4 Jenga blocks, as you can see there. I was deciding there which of those I would use for the feet. I ended up using some of those little wood cubes. Again, those are from the Crafter's Square section at the Dollar Tree. Now, I'm just figuring out how big or how long I need to make those pieces to close off the ends of that little wood planter. So once I determine how wide I need them, these are those craft sticks. Now, as I mentioned, you could just use regular craft sticks, the width of the craft sticks that come at the Dollar Tree, or you could pick these up at Walmart. So I just marked out 4 of those because I'm using the wider craft sticks. If you use the more narrow craft sticks, obviously you'll have to cut more of those pieces. And then I'm just going to take my scissors and cut those. I don't use my good scissors to cut sticks like that, but I do use my older scissors, and they will cut just fine. And after I do that, I do use a little sanding block to smooth up those edges. So I had an issue with my camera filming in slow motion again. It just does it randomly, and I try to compensate by speeding up the video, but this will pass here very shortly. So I just cut through the craft sticks, and they will require a little bit of sanding. I just use a zip sander, or you could use a sanding block or a piece of sandpaper, whatever you use for sanding. And you'll want to be careful cutting those because they will split if you don't cut them slowly with at least a semi-sharp pair of scissors. So I cut all 4 of my pieces. My other pieces are all ready to go. And again, I see you must be able to see that they're a double thickness on those 12-inch pieces. But again, I'm just using up the wood that I have. And I had glued together 4 of those sections for a previous project, ended up not using it, but I'm going to go ahead and use it up now. But it's no need to be double thickness for sure. This certainly is a very lightweight piece of wood once it's all composed and put together. All right, now I am going to use wood glue. And yes, I'm using a sponge applicator. And this is simply because I just could not seem to unclog the cap of my Gorilla Wood glue. So I just gave up and dumped some on a paper plate and used a sponge applicator to put on my wood glue. So I'm going to go ahead and glue those 2 bottom pieces, which is the floor of my little planter. And then I'm going to put the side pieces on, which are those other 2 12-inch long pieces. I'm going to glue those right on top of the floor piece. And then I'm going to close off my ends with my little craft sticks. And that's how easy it is to create the body of this little wood planter. I do hold that for just a bit to be sure it's adhering. Now I'm going to take my Jenga blocks and I'm going to glue 2 of those together for each side. And this is going to be how I'm going to raise up my love sign and place it on there. So you'll be able to see it over the greenery that's going to be placed inside of my little wood planter. So I have 2 of those on there. Now, I used, because my wood was thicker, I placed mine flat. But you can, because if you can use just the single one and place it on its side rather than putting it flat on the back piece. If you're just using one piece of that 12-inch long wood, I hope that made sense. All right, now I'm going to be placing my wood cubes on each corner with my wood glue, and I'm using my little bench cookies there. Oh, I just love them. They really help me out with my projects. Okay, so I'm going to use wood glue, place my little wood cubes on each end. And that's how it's going to be the feet for my piece. You could also use wood beads if you'd rather do that. That's fine as well. Okay, that's the body of my wood planter. Very, very easy to put together. Now, as far as those Jenga blocks, as I mentioned, I had a double thickness on my wood, so I just placed my Jenga blocks flat on there. But if you're using just the single piece of wood, you can put them on their sides. So you can decide if you want one or two on each end. That's up to you, however high you want your sign raised. Now, I showed you a stencil there. I thought I was going to put a stencil on the front, but I ended up not doing that, and I changed my mind regarding that, and I'll show you what I did instead. So I'm going to be using some Snow White Waverly chalk paint to paint the back and this inside and outside of my letters. I'm going to be covering my letters with scrapbook paper. Now that's the one and only item that actually came from another source, and that was, the source was Hobby Lobby. Now, one thing that you could do if you wanted to keep this entirely Dollar Tree, look at the gift bags. They have some pretty gift bags for Valentine's Day. You could use those gift bags and cut them into the shapes of the letters. And you could use those instead of scrapbook paper. You could also paint them. You could put some polka dots on them, or some little gems, or anything that you like to put on there to dress up the letters. So I'm going to go ahead and paint the sides, the insides of all the letters, and I did paint the back. Okay, so I did a little bit of the front as well, but I'm showing you there that I painted as much as was needed for my letters. Now, what I'm going to be doing is deciding how I want to create my letters, because there's no defining lines to finish those letters inside of the wood piece. So you're going to have to make a decision how you want it. If you want the O to be a complete O, or if you want the V to be complete, you're going to have to decide how you want your letters. And that's completely up to you. Okay, so I'm going to show you how I traced around my letters and cut them out and place them on this sign. Each of the letters is going to have a different scrapbook paper. Now, as I mentioned, you could use gift bags. Last season, I actually covered a heart for the center of a wreath with a gift bag from the Dollar Tree, and it was beautiful. So I would check out those gift bags if I were you. So I traced around my letter, decided about how I wanted it to be, and I did have to improvise a little bit because, as you can see, those letters are connected. So that's what I mean about having to decide exactly how you want your letters. I just sat there for a few minutes and looked at it and tried to figure out the best way. I could have used the O completely as a complete round circle as the O, but I ended up opting to do a complete V, which I'm showing you right here. I could have gone either way on that. You do you, however you would like to do it. So I have all of my letters cut out from 4 different Valentine's Day scrapbook papers from Hobby Lobby. Every other week, their scrapbook papers are 40% off. So I'm going to go ahead and use my sponge applicator and do one letter at a time with my page, of course. You could use a glue stick if you like. I just tend to use my page myself. But you do you, however you want to adhere your letters. But I like to use my page, and then I will be sanding the edges just to get everything all cleaned up and perfect. Now I'm putting on my O. And then I'm going to place my letters on there. I just smooth it out with my fingers after I apply it on to the Mod Podge. And then I just complete all of my letters for my little love sign that's going to go on the back wall, if you will, of my little wood planter. Okay, and you can see here I have all of my letters on. Now I'm going to go around the edges anywhere where I have any overhang or excess paper on the edges. I'm just going to apply my zip sander on the downward motion and just sand off any excess. I'm going around the whole piece. Any tight areas, like for example, if you need to go inside of that heart on the O, just use a smaller file, like maybe a nail file. That will work well. Okay, so Dollar Tree has a lot of these little wood letters, these little wood hearts. Very easy to find these at the Dollar Tree. So I'm going to just take a little spouncer and I'm going to make all of my hearts pink. I have here a bush of what I think looks like a baby's breath, and that's what I chose to use for my planter. Now, Dollar Tree does have this same one. This particular one happens to be from Hobby Lobby, but I'm telling you, they have this at the Dollar Tree, so you can pick this up there as well. I just use one full bush. If you get it at the Dollar Tree, one should be enough, but just kind of eyeball whatever they have there. See if, the amount looks like it will fill up that wood box that you created. Okay, so I have a vast assortment here of different sizes and different types of hearts. Now I'm going to make all of these pink. All of the hearts in my little heart garden are going to be pink. Now, you can do yours whatever color that you like. I went with the pink because the letters, the scrapbook paper on the letters was of a kind of a deeper red, and I was thinking that the red paint was just not going to be quite right to match the scrapbook paper. So I decided to focus on pink for this piece, which I love pink for Valentine's Day projects, so that was just fine with me. So I took a kitchen knife and I took some floral foam, which I got at the Dollar Tree, and I just had to slice off just a little bit with a serrated edge knife to fit into the little wood planter. Now you can get that floral foam in the section where they have like the wreath frames and rocks and things like that. It comes in like 4 cubes in a pack. So now I'm placing my wood sign on the back of my planter. Now, I used Aleene's Tacky Glue to do that. I think that was the best choice. Once I put the paint on there, I didn't want to use wood glue. So I went with the Aleene's Tacky, and that worked just perfectly. Now I'm going to create a small bow. This ribbon was from Hobby Lobby, but Dollar Tree has plenty of Valentine's Day ribbons. So this piece could, in fact, be made entirely from Dollar Tree materials. I just created a small 4-loop bow, each of the loops being around 4 inches. I just used my method that I always use to create bows. I fold over my loops, pinch it in the center, twist my ribbon so that the correct side of the ribbon is always facing up, and I just created a 4-loop bow. Now I'm just creating one single loop to go right down the center, and I'm using my pipe cleaner to close my loops. Now, if you would like to learn to make bows like I do, I have plenty of tutorials. Check out my playlist. I have all different types of bow tutorials. Choose 1 or 2 or 3, or hopefully all of them, and just sit down with some practice ribbon and learn how to make a beautiful bow. So I have a nice small bow here. I don't want it too big or too overpowering for the piece. It's just going to be inserted on the end of my little wood planter. And this is a very pretty pink ribbon with red hearts. But like I said, they have plenty of ribbons at the Dollar Tree. They have narrow ribbons as well as 2.5 inch. If you use one of the 2.5 inch ribbons, I would just do a 2-loop bow because that's going to be a wider ribbon. And again, you don't want anything too overpowering on your piece. Now I'm going to take my little hearts. I initially thought I was going to put hearts on the front of my little wood planter, but then I had another change of heart. Let me interrupt myself here. I'm showing you some Easter pieces that are in at the Dollar Tree. If you are someone who likes to produce the pieces that I do, start looking for these. Rabbit, egg, chick, and the carrot. Just so you know, a word to the wise, I'm just saying, pick them up now before you can't get them anymore, okay? Okay, so those are coming up. All right, painted my little wood hearts, different types, different shapes. Now I'm going to be using wood skewers from the kitchen department at the Dollar Tree. I used my miter shears to cut these, and I'm going to create my little heart flowers that are going to stick into this floral foam by hot gluing these hearts on the end of the skewer. Now I'm going to try as best I can on these hearts that have anything hollowed out in the center to glue the stick on so it's not seen from whatever area is hollowed out. And the truth is once you glue these on, they're not going to be going anywhere or being touched. So that hot glue is going to be plenty sufficient to hold those little hearts. Now you're going to have to stick into the floral foam to see about how tall you want your heart flowers. And you can always cut them down once you start doing the arrangement. Now for those skewer sticks attached to those hearts, I just took a paintbrush and I painted most of the stem, if you will, of the heart flower. The part that goes in the foam, it's not necessary to paint that anyway, so you can just hold on to that with your fingers to paint those up real quick. And I did that with Snow White Waverly chalk paint. Dollar Tree does have paints. I wouldn't recommend them, but if you're intent on doing everything from the Dollar Tree, you could look for those. They're in the Crafter's Square section. So I have all of my stems painted, and my sign for the back is dry now. Now for the area on that planter, it really needed something that was very plain. I initially, like I said, thought about putting a stencil on, which you could do. You could paint it whatever color. Again, that's completely up to you. But I'm showing you some choices of ribbons. I'm going to wrap it. That's a Dollar Tree ribbon. One of my favorite Valentine's Day ribbons. That one is kind of a heart trim. Showing you what that would look like wrapped around that box. So I'm going to be using ribbon to dress up my flower box. That's a Dollar Tree trim. Look how pretty that is. It's a little bit of a bright red to coordinate with my scrapbook papers, but if you use something different on your love sign, you could certainly use that. That's another pretty Dollar Tree trim with little tiny hearts. Very pretty. They have plenty of narrow ribbons. You could use any narrow ribbon. You could use a trim. I'm going to use this narrow ribbon. I believe I got this on clearance last season at Joann Fabrics. But again, very easy to find. A Dollar Tree narrow ribbon that would look just fine going around this box. Mine happens to have little red hearts. So I started in the back and I just began by placing some Aleene's Tacky glue. I did a little section at a time and I glued that around the top of the planter. Now I'm going to do the same thing around the bottom edge of the planter. And this really, really added something to this piece. So I'm going to strongly suggest that you do this, but you could, as I mentioned, do a stencil. Or maybe you have some type of transfer that you would like to use. But I think the box really needs a little something extra. Now, as you can see, this is starting to really become cute. Look at that. How cute is that? Okay, so I have my floral film all inserted down in there. Now, I have some white shreds, paper shreds, and some pink paper shreds. That's hard to say. And I got these at the Dollar Tree in the like gift wrapping department. Now, I'm not going to use like a Spanish moss or a reindeer moss or an Excelsior, anything like that, because I wanted to keep the colors consistent, white, red, and pink. So I covered the top of my box with white paper shreds. And then I was thinking it would be really cute to add just a touch of pink mixed in with those white shreds. So that's what I did. I like the way this looks once the hearts and the baby's breath is in there. I like the look of the paper shreds, even some of them kind of peeking out through whatever I put inside of that planter box. All right, so now I have my baby's breath, and I have it all prepared, all trimmed off of the big main stem. Now, what I have to do is make sure that when you put any type of flowers or greenery that you put in this planter box, you're not going to want to cover up the love. Now, it's okay to have just the bottom edge of the letters, maybe see some of that of your greenery or your flowers kind of peeking up. That's fine, but you don't want to really cover it up a lot. So I decided, in order to accommodate that plan, that I needed to cut down my foam just a little bit more. So of those pieces that come in that package of floral foam, I want to say I cut off 1/3 to get that to lay flatter inside of that planter box. So I put all of my pieces of baby's breath type of floral in there. And now I'm going to take a wood skewer and I am going to open up the pipe cleaner on the back of my bow, put a dab of glue, set that wood skewer right down in the center, right in that area of glue, and then I take my pipe cleaners, wrap it around, and now that wood skewer is very secure on the back of the bow, and now I have a pick to put down into the floral foam to hold my bow onto that piece. So I'm going to put that down on the right side. And again, I kept my bow small because I didn't want to be covering up the letters. So now I have my baby's breath in there. I have my bow. I have my paper shreds. I'm just adjusting my bow there. Notice I put it toward the outside corner on the right side. And now this piece is just becoming so cute. Now, how much floral you put in there is up to you, but I'm just going to recommend that you keep it low so you don't go into too much into the area of your letters. All right, so now I'm going to take my little hearts. I didn't end up using any red hearts at all. So you have to keep your cutters handy. You can either use, you could use scissors on these wooden skewers. They're pretty easy to cut. And by holding the stick, I placed them down into the foam, and I just placed all of my pink hearts of all sizes and shapes, and I just distributed them into the garden box, balancing everything out. And so now it looks like there's a little garden of pink hearts mixed in with the baby's breath. And I am loving this piece. So we have the beautiful ribbons. We have our garden all put together, our letters. This is a beautiful piece made primarily from Dollar Tree materials. I would say you would never recognize those Dollar Tree materials in this piece. It turned out so pretty. Tell me what you think of this one. I absolutely love it. And I hope you do as well. I hope you are considering making this. It's just so super cute. So easy to do. So affordable. So if you enjoy this tutorial, I hope you will give this video a thumbs up, and as well let me know in the comments what you think of this piece. I have lots more Valentine's Day decor coming up, including a beautiful Valentine's Day wreath on a wire wreath frame in the shape of a heart. Okay, until next time, you all take care.